So now we have to step in and fix it. Our government's not going to back out and say, hey, we made a mistake, here's your money back. You know, personal property tax has been unconstitutional for over 20 years. They haven't given our money back, they're still collecting it. And they're still going to try to collect on each of these type taxes. But if the people don't step up and raise their voice, and then that's what I've done. I'm not saying that what I've done is going to be the fix-all by any means.
Well, yeah, and I don't like personal property tax. I think it's like things unconstitutional, same for real estate. But you've got these taxing districts and these municipalities and counties and things that they've set up their
Budgets on it.
budgets based on that. So
well, let's see how much the budget's
I can
weighted.
see a lot of resistance to this because people are going to say, well, you're going to bankrupt my town if this happens. So, I mean, this is the kind of thing I'm anticipating.
I see it.
In front of me. So
I see it.
what's your answer to that?
If they say we're going to bankrupt your town, then I'm going to say, well, then I want to see the money that you've received so far. Where I live, the county collector, Danny Gladden, have you guys heard about this story? We pay our real estate and personal property taxes into this man. For 3 years, every check that was wrote to him was going in his pocket. Every check for all the real estate and personal property tax was going to him because it was made to Danny Gladden. The state didn't miss that money for 3 years. And I'm a small county. There's not much money there.
Crawford County.
They don't know where that money is, but now he's in federal prison because he took all this money. If I wouldn't have had my receipt to prove I had paid my taxes, they were going to make me pay them again. So, is it the wrong or is it the right? But if that much money can be wasted and spent, how much waste is there? And I've got county collectors that have signed my petition. I've got superintendents that signed it. And the one county collector flat out told me 5 people are hired to do one person's job. I'm sorry, that's my tax dollar you just spent. And is that much waste? Is there that much need for that much money there? And if it's that much waste, why aren't you being audited? I'm an accountant. I audit people right and left. Yes?
So Angela, do you kind of foresee, let's say that this actually gets on the ballot and gets voted, everybody accepts it and it passes. So then there are no more personal property taxes and no more
Real estate
taxes. Okay, so then it seems like, obviously there's going to be a kind of a crisis because people are,
That's why I'm wanting a side-by-side bill. I've asked every state representative and senator, and BJ's done the same. Step in and write with us. But I want to be part of it.
So you're expecting them, or you're hoping that they're going to, and what will their bill be?
I have given them a choice to look at several states that do not have these taxes. I mean, Florida doesn't have the taxes we have. North Dakota doesn't. Tennessee doesn't. Las Vegas doesn't. New York doesn't. There's a lot of states that do not have it. Pennsylvania has now got one they've been working on for a while, and I read it. It's language I can understand at my level, and my daughter can understand at her level. And it was easy to read, easy to understand, where if I was to explain that to someone and you were looking at it, you would understand. It's look up Pennsylvania bills under cancellation of real estate and personal property taxes, and you're going to find that, I don't know what the bill major is, but it called for a 0.5% increase across the board, and it wiped out the taxes. And that 0.5% had to be frozen or locked in to those specific causes, including the schools. So I thought that was a great bill. I thought it was really great. And I've asked the senators, why aren't you looking at that? Why aren't you looking at like-kind measures? They've known for 2 years they've been working on this. 2 years. I think they thought that I'm a little old lady in the middle of nowhere and I'm not going to do nothing. I really believe that that's what they think. But I won't get out and I won't speak. And that's wrong. You just crossed the wrong leg right there. So if it just takes me getting out and talking, I'll go wherever. I don't care if it's 10 people or if it's 2,000 people. It doesn't bother me. And I don't mind getting questions asked because that formulates answers for me. I can go and I can do the research, and I'll gladly research into what you've stated for the parks. I understand the parks, but most of the parks charge a fee as well. Where I'm at, they do.
Well, it depends. The tax is for the establishment and care of free public parks. So the tax, what we say establishment.
But the parks that you pay for, shouldn't that money be used for the other parks as well?
Sorry?
Like if you go to Merrimack State Park or Merrimack Caverns, you pay $10, $12, $15 a day, whatever it is. Shouldn't that money be utilized amongst all parks so that it's a revenue that's divided fairly across the state? See, this is the problem I have with this revenue process. No one's audited our state government.
Well, typically, since I sat on the parks board, so I know a little bit about this. We basically only charge actual costs. And frankly, that's all you are allowed to charge. You can't turn a profit off of
Right.
public property. So if it
So
costs.
just actual park for just yours, the cost of just what runs your park, that's what you
Well,
charge?
for instance, we got a football league, and we charge them because there's field maintenance, there's striping, there's man hours, so there's a bunch of things that go into getting fields ready for their weekly games and things, so they have to pay something because, they're getting, they're asking for additional things above just maintaining a free park, so, but we don't charge them extra, we charge them the
Flat rate.
exact man hours, the labor, the materials, and so it's actual costs that are charged.
So when there's nothing going on in the park, what covers the cost of your field? Is that what you're saying?
It had been the real estate tax. Now,
Okay.
again, we just passed the sales tax in lieu of the real estate tax, which is a big mistake when I've been to this whole other story. So yeah, but it had been solely provided for.
See, I would love for someone to do an audit and examination of each of these taxes and what they were classified for, because for school districts, it actually started as a sales tax. It was just a sales tax that covered it. Now there's like 17 different types of tax that are supposed to be going for our schools. Well, what happened to the sales tax that was created for it to start with? And how did we get so far out of whack? How did St. Louis, superintendents make $100,000 a year and ours only make 60? How come this math teacher makes 90 and this one makes 30? They both have to have a master's degree. They both have to have a level of excellence and pass the criteria by our teaching facilities. So how come it's so uneven? And I think that this money is more fairly divided out amongst the people for what it's supposed to be, then that excess money could be divided the way it should be. And that each child, whether they're Christian, public, or homeschooled, should have equal treatment in that tax dollar because everybody pays for it. I don't think it's fair that St. Louis children have the right for one thing and we don't. Your parks may be more luscious than ours because my park doesn't even have new equipment. I think the park equipment's, 100 years old there. My fire department doesn't even have a big enough building to support a building. But yet, any money we have to do is the firemen are standing there with their boot out in the middle of the street. And it's by volunteer effort, where here, you're relying upon the tax dollars to pay for it. Here, we're relying upon the people and the goodness of their park to support it. So maybe some of this country attitude needs to move into the city.
One other thing I said with the school thing is, like, our school, when I was in high school, we had to share books. We didn't have new books, and the books were, and we were learning about stuff that was 10 years old, and the book, people up here, they're getting brand new swimming pools, so we don't have books to look at. And we're learning stuff that's 10 years behind, common, history, anything like that. Way up here, they're swimming around in a pool for an hour.
So
Big difference.
I understand your argument, I really do. But I really have a problem with how the money's been
I guess
dictated.
that's the thing. I mean, if you've got a need in the community that's not being met, and again, I'm not a tax, I'm not a big, tax guy, but why not generate those revenues there locally, put it on the ballot? Hey, we need to raise some money for our parks, and put a question to the local.
But where we're at, you'd have to
Because
understand.
another community pays taxes to maintain parks, and you may not have parks tax. I mean,
But
that's.
where we're at, the unemployment rate is 40%. This 10% rate that they say, that's wrong. I've done an audit of it, it's 40% where I'm at. So if you got more unemployed in our area, more places to work in St. Louis, less pay where we're at, more pay where you're at. Part of my petition will also create new revenue, which will create new tax revenue. It will, you can talk to any senator, you can talk to anybody. By taking away the tax, new business will come, new corporations will come. It's going to create new employment, it's going to create new jobs, it's going to create new corporate tax, it's going to create new income tax, new wage taxes that will be dispersed amongst those where they're
There's
at.
another unconstitutional tax, an income tax.
I did my dissertation on dissolving the IRS. I don't believe this is correct and true, but until it's done, I can't do anything about it. I love the fact about auditing the Federal Reserve. I'd love to see it done.